Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of 7 Days to Die. It is day 107 and I am starving. I am starving. I am so thirsty because I have been so busy working out here and I did not want to stop until I finished doing the work that I was doing. And I have just been busy. Oh, I'm out of stamina. I mean, I really do need to eat and drink something, but I have, been working on a little something here. Now, I was trying before I started recording to kind of try to figure out how much rebar this actually is. Because you'll notice I have not buttoned anything up over here in the garden yet, but this is just kind of telling as to how much, material this entire base is going to require. I did find out that glass panes, you can actually do a slanted slab of it. So I will be able to cover the roof of this in glass. So there's no glass in place yet. We want to get the concrete in place yet and get it painted first before we put the glass in the greenhouse. But this thing is absolutely spectacular. I think there's probably about 1,500 pieces of rebar in here. I mean, all of this is wedge tips and wedges that are, stacked together over and over to kind of come down all the way from the peak way up there. We've got our pillars going up all around the outside, and I moved all of these out. I think I showed this in another video, but I moved all of these out so that you have room all around the different sides here to do different things and to kind of move around here. And then, yeah, all of our little garden beds are wide open, of course, to the weather up above. And we have gotten some farm plots in place. I've been making these steadily as I find more rotten flesh. And basically, I've just been, I'm not worried about any kind of order or anything like that for any of these plants yet. I just want to get them grown. I just want to get more seeds. I just want to continue kind of just making more and more and more stuff. So that way, when I get all of the farm plots in place, which you can see we're not even halfway that way, it's going to take quite a long time to get all that rotten flesh. I'm going to have to go find, I know there's places where there's dogs, like zombie dogs and things like that. I'm going to have to purposely go seek out those POIs and kind of raid them. So that way I can kind of try to figure out exactly, what I can do. But I don't even want to fathom, I really need to go eat. I don't even want to fathom how much concrete this is going to take to actually button this thing up. But you can see we brought this lip all the way down here over the edge and all the way around the outside. So it's kind of a double thick, layer all around the outside of the entire roof structure. I was thinking about doing some braces kind of going straight over from where the high-rise portion is here. You guys will have to let me know what you think of that necessarily, but I don't know how I would put it in here at this point, frankly, unless I just throw in some actual just kind of temporary braces to hold it while I change up the roof design, because I basically have to go from this here, like this block, and then go straight across all the way over to that. And then I would do that all the way down the span of the building. I think it might look cool that way if I do it, but I don't necessarily know if I want to commit to trying to do it that way, because then I have to change out one of the blocks in the pillar. And it's going to be a bunch of a headache to kind of hold it up there, because I'm going to have to put a brace of rebar frame in here going all the way up on both sides to make sure we hold the pillar in place. Because we'll have to take one of these pieces out and put one of those in, and it scares me. That really scares me. But the garden is, basically at this point, we can call this project, partially complete. And, this took forever. You do see in the hotbar, so this is just a nice tip for anybody that's building something like this. It requires a lot of different angles of rebar frame. Instead of constantly changing the rotation and changing the shape in your menu, going to the block itself and then holding down R, then switching the shape every time you need to switch up the shape and the design. Just split up your rebar frames in your inventory and make them each a different shape. That way you only need to change in between the different things in your hotbar to stick them in. That made this go together. Really, this took me a couple days in game to get all this rebar in place. I think I came back here. I did some work at the Horde Night base after the last video, and then I came back here and I've been working on this and some digging. So if you see on the map here, you got all these darker spots here. This was here. But, this channel, all this stuff here, I've just kind of been slowly but surely chipping away at the ground here, because eventually this entire grass cover is going to need to come out of here. All of this stuff's gonna need to come out of here, and of course we're also ripping out the next layer of the foundation of the house to flatten this out with everything as well, to get everything built over here. I'm gonna go downstairs and get some food and get some concrete, because I am gonna die, well, eventually. Like, I'm not in any danger of that right now, but I will inevitably die if I don't stop. I really, really, really need to get more produce rocking and rolling over here, though, because I have so much meat and I have the ability to make so much food, but I just don't have any of it here. So we've been sticking to canned food for now, unfortunately. But, yeah, I will join you guys in a few moments. I'm going to grab a ton of concrete, and we're going to head outside. We're going to start buttoning up this garden. You know, I have the distinct feeling this is not going to be enough concrete. I brought some cobblestone as well, and I need wood, too. Are any of these trees... I've been slapping trees up literally left and right, because I've been ripping the ones out that I've had to dig up. But I just had to put a whole bunch of stuff downstairs. In terms of wood, I should say. I had to use a whole bunch of wood downstairs in my forges. So yeah, I need to rip all these guys out of here. Now, it's probably time to just get these out of here completely, because I really need to just kind of start clear-cutting the entire ground area here and getting these things taken care of. I mean, it's just a necessity at this point. We've got some... I mean, these are planted here down where the actual ground's going to be dug up, and those wouldn't have reached maturity yet, but I'm going to just remove... Oh, and all those ones that are right next to the garden just grew up, too. Oh, God. Oh, my lord. I mean, work is just very slowly and very steadily continuing on this thing. I really got to figure out what I want to start next. Like, what the next actual piece I'm going to start construction on is. I really think I want to do the other observation tower before I really worry about anything else. Because obviously we've still got the main keep building, but that's going to be a big undertaking. We've still got to clear this entire area out. Literally everything from over here where I started this, all the way back to the garden. I got to clear out all of this topsoil area before I can even start construction on that project. So I'm kind of curious to see... yeah, like, I don't know exactly what I should do. Exactly what I should do in terms of... Hello? Hello? I knew I heard something. Hello, sir? Wandering hordes coming through this... I am so bad this morning, apparently. Alright, let's do this way. Morning, guys. How's it going? Good to see you. I was gonna say, I thought there was one more, the one that I missed, like, completely, because I'm the worst shot in this game. Oh, I'm far enough away. So this is far render distance. Like, this is the farthest the render distance goes. Because I'm at high render distance now. And we can still see, like, the other end of that thing there. Which is kind of frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's my fault for building a base this size, really. But, I mean, still. I love it when zombies show up in the morning. Let me get the rest of these trees out of the way. I think we're going to leave these ones here because they're not in the way of the garden right now. This is the first stage of a pine tree. I mean, I love it. I think it's great, but yeah, it obscures literally anything on there. I mean, you can't see anything in here. Literally. Looks like I'm like completely camouflaged. I wouldn't be if a zombie was outside because you can't hide from them that way. Hello? Yeah, you can't hide from them that way. So I don't necessarily know what I would do. But yeah, I love this thing. So I'm gonna wait on actually doing this section of the roof. So I'm gonna do like all of the lower sections of the roof and the ground areas. But yeah, I really, really do want to think about running this cross brace across. Like I said, it would just be a straight line from here across to meet this one here. And it would have to go through this bar here. It wouldn't be too... I mean, it would be annoying to try to to try to work around that in one way or another, but I mean, we can totally do it though. We can totally do it. But yeah, I mean, this is going to take me ages. to button this thing up. I just know how long this take to put all this rebar down here. This took. Oh boy, words are hard sometimes. I know how long this took to place all these blocks in here, so it's gonna take literally forever to knock all these things out of here. But we might as well get started. This is gonna be our keystone right here. Bam. We are officially buttoning in the garden. Hi-ho, it's off to work we go. Well, morning has dawned, ladies and gentlemen, on day 108, and you can see we are still finishing concrete upgrade work to this garage, garden, whatever. Here we are. Now, I did end up going with the cross brace here in all of these. I think it looks much better, and we also added one that goes this direction all the way through the middle structure here, because, I mean, honestly, that's just kind of how, if you think about it, you would normally do it to make sure that that is very well braced and everything. And now, of course, we are upgrading all of the rest of the concrete work in here, and we still also have to upgrade the wood here, so we can kind of figure out exactly what our plans are going to be. So let me finish buttoning this up here, and then I want to take a kind of final look at this before we discuss what we're going to be planting and where in the garden. And that is the final piece. Oh my goodness. Now, I don't think I'm ever actually going to upgrade these beyond normal concrete. I mean, I just want them to be something relatively strong, just in case zombies wander through here and decide to smack at something. I just don't want it to be like wood or cobblestone or anything like that. So I did decide to at least, you know, upgrade them to normal concrete. And the same thing with the roof cap. I mean, the roof cap is also just regular concrete because it, of course, was also just that kind of trestle that you add at the top of the roof. And that's what I used to add up there. But, I mean, the amount of concrete. So, basically, this build, including all of the concrete that I had before in my inventory, which I talked about earlier, before I started buttoning everything up, I'll have to flash a little infographic up here on the screen in a minute so you guys can see it. But I used an additional 13,200 just to finish the second half of the concrete work in this, and I know I had more than that in my inventory the first time. I mean, that's just telling to you about how much of this concrete went in here. And I mean, also in terms of rebar. I mean, this alone was a full stack of 500 rebar when I brought it out here to finish adding these cross braces and everything. And then I did miss the one little slant part over here. And I did miss adding the little tip on the edge of the roof trellis over there. So, I mean, just an unbelievable amount of resources have gone into the construction of this garden. And I mean, obviously, we still have to paint yet. We haven't even begun with all that kind of stuff yet. But look at this beauty. I mean, this thing is... I think it looks incredible. I really, really do. Once we get the paint in here, like, once this is all painted like to look like wood, which, of course, is what we're going to do with it, it's going to look even better. And, of course, we're going to get the glass in here. Those little glass ramp pieces, we're going to get those in here into the skylights. But now what we need to do is we need to talk about what we're going to be planting in these planter boxes right here. And I'm probably going to eventually, as I'm buttoning this up and as I'm kind of coming through here, I don't like this kind of harsh little piece jutting out here. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to replace these blocks right here with wedge tips or something of that nature. So that way they're sloped and they kind of slant coming out of the structure instead of not. And we may actually, well, I don't know if we'll do that there. But yeah, I kind of just want this box to be like around the planter boxes. And then yeah, I kind of like the idea of these ones here, these paths here, having a little bit of a slope to them. But yeah, let's talk about these gardening plots. So looking at the total number of plots that we have here, we have 36 of these bad boys. 12 of them are these 4-block wide plots. These are 12 total spaces in these. And the other 24 of them are these big bad boys with 15 blocks. We got 36 blocks total. So I've kind of laid everything out in my inventory, how we're going to lay our crops out in the garden here. We're going to use 1 plot each for these 3, the hops, the cotton, and the pumpkins, because we're not going to use a ton of these. It's just nice to have them. And then our second tier we're going to use for coffee, yucca, and goldenrod. We're going to get 2 plots of each of these. And then we're going to have 3 plots of each of these 5, your chrysanthemums, your blueberries, supercorn, mushrooms, and aloe. And then we're going to have 6 plots each, because obviously we use these for meat stew and more than everything else. 6 plots of corn and 6 plots of potatoes. Now, I don't know exactly how I'm going to split that up in terms of the 12 versus the 24. I think we'll do... probably say maybe we'll do the corn in these 6 in the corner here, so we're using 3 of the 4, and then we'll do the potatoes over in this corner over here, so we're doing these 6 over here, and then we'll have the 2 center rows over here, and we can stick things like, you know, maybe our cotton and maybe that kind of stuff can get the bigger plots because we're only going to literally have the 1 plot of them. And maybe we can kind of do something like that. I'm not envisioning I'm going to have to do a lot of replanting in this garden. Once it's done, I mean, aside from harvesting some of the things sometimes, it's not going to take a terrible long time to do a lot of all this stuff. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's just so much to consider. Let me zip through here. I'm going to actually go stick some plants in here. I wish I had more of these farm plots so I could actually stick 1 in each of these things. And then kind of mark it with the specific crop that it's going to get. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to grow a bunch of this stuff at this time, and I am not, and I mean not, replanting and ripping things up and replanting and ripping things up again. It's going to be such a pain. The most important thing that I need to do right now is I need to get potatoes and I need to get corn planted so I can continue harvesting them and, you know, build up a full amount of them so I can start racking up meat stews and stuff like that over in this area. So let me get some of these seeds planted here. Okay, so we've thinned out our seeds a little bit. We've got potatoes planted here. We're starting super corn here. We're starting chrysanthemums here. And then we've got corn planted in all 4 of these plots over here. Corn will go in those 2 as well. Chrysanthemums here, super corn here. All 4 of these that are still empty will all be potatoes. And then we're going to split all the rest of the crops up into this area back here. We're going to do we've still got our aloe and our blueberries and our mushrooms to worry about. Those are all going to go in these longer plots like this. And then I think we actually might do cotton, pumpkin seed, and hops here. And then we need a couple goldenrods. We need a couple of yuccas, and we need a couple of coffees. I'm not exactly sure how we'll split those up just yet, because I kind of want to keep things grouped together as well, even if I have to use multiples of these. I mean, maybe we'll do, instead of doing this with the 3, maybe we'll do goldenrod, coffee, and yucca there or something, just so we can kind of keep everything grouped together, because I want to have everything grouped so that way we can come in and grab stuff. And you can also see, I mean, if you look carefully enough at the crops anyway, I'm placing them all at different angles, so that way when they grow up, it doesn't look like just like everything is exactly the same over here, like everything's the same exact orientation and everything. I definitely don't want it to look like that. You can see we turned a bunch of our potato crop here, and all those are going to look completely different. But we need so much more rotten flesh in order to realize this farm to its fullest potential. But that is the garden. Relatively, I mean, at least for now, done and dusted. We've still got a lot of painting to do. I love the design of this thing. I think this thing looks absolutely stunning. And once I get this bad boy painted, it's going to look even better. I don't think we're necessarily going to worry about that right now, though, because we are going to be turning our attention to some other projects, namely breaking ground on the main mega structure that's going to be in the base. Not the tallest one. The tallest one, if you remember the map from a few episodes back, it's going to be further toward the back. I want to get started on that, and I really actually want to get an airfield started in here, because there is an iron deposit over here at the back of this structure here, which is why this ground is all collapsed in here. Because of this iron deposit, we've been digging. There's also lead back there. And this is where our air traffic control tower is going to be. Because it's already opened up down in this area, we can branch it right off of the wall. We don't need to have it built into the wall like everything else, you know? I mean, we don't have to have it separate, I mean. And we can kind of have it built right in here. So I'm going to clear out some more of this iron. Probably not all the way down to level 24, But, I mean, we've still got so much more digging work to do. We've got so much more of all of our work to do. I did do some more digging in the night as well. Just kind of waiting for sunrise so I could really get in here and show you guys this thing in the daylight. I don't know what we're going to do here in terms of lighting yet. We may just stick some torches on some of these centralized pillars here, just to put a little bit of lighting over here, but I mean, that is just, I mean, that's it. And that's going to do it for this episode in my 7 Days to Die series. I think we're going to get one more episode in before the day 112 horde. And I'm going to just kind of try to keep grinding and get a lot of work done. But holy cow, the amount of resources that went into building this structure is insane. And this is just a garden. This is literally just my garden. And it's still not even done yet. We still got to get the glass is one of the biggest things. We still got to get that glass in there. And I'm really eager to see how that's going to kind of fall in place there. I got to cut down all these trees again because I need a lot of wood. But yeah, that is going to do it for another episode of 7 Days to Die. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Go out there and absolutely crush it. You are amazing, and I absolutely love you for taking the time to tune in and watch the videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode of 7 Days to Die. Bye!